So fasting mimicking diet is really all about how you can get all of the benefits of fasting without some of the side effects that we may get. Because most of the times when we go through a fast, we feel like, okay, we might get a headache or feel tired, lethargic, or feel irritable, like any of those things at the beginning stages, where fasting mimicking diet really does avoid a lot of those symptoms that you might be getting. So just as a reminder, all of the amazing things that we get from fasting, it helps with decreasing inflammation, helps with brain function, helps with reversing type 2 diabetes, improves blood pressure, cholesterol, triglycerides, helps with weight loss, delays aging. Like there really isn't, there's just so much research on the benefits of fasting. So it's kind of cool to learn about how we can adapt a fasting mimicking plan to get all of these benefits without just having to do the strict water fasting that we've been talking about. Cool. So what does the research say? It says that actually, it goes beyond just what I listed there as far as inflammation and weight loss and cholesterol and blood pressure. We found that fasting and fasting mimicking diets are really amazing for reducing cancer risk and balancing hormones and helping with your metabolism. So it's not just the studies on complete water fasting, it's really showing how caloric restriction and kind of like a mimicking fast can help increase even resistance to chemotherapy in normal cells. So it means it helps protect your healthy normal cells. And when that toxicity is going in the system, it actually helps redirect just to the cancerous cells, which is really cool because that's a big reason why people don't want to do conventional therapies or chemo, or they get scared of it because of all of the harm it does to the healthy cells. So if there's a way that you can kind of manipulate the body and help with how the chemicals or how the medications are directed just at the cancerous ones, fasting mimicking diets, there's thousands of articles on this as well. And then it's showing how it helps with, it's really, the caloric restriction in human studies shown a reduction of metabolic and hormonal factors associated with cancer risk. But beyond even cancer, just showing how it helps with hormones, with energy, and anti-aging. So it really does help how the healthy cell turnover, helping produce healthy new cells. And then it's kind of like cleaning up the old debris that shouldn't be there. So let's get into what does a fasting mimicking diet look like. And the premise of it is really a caloric restriction. So you're looking at, in a day, 500 to 1,000 calories, and that's based on your weight. So if you are 100 pounds, you'll aim more towards the 500 calories. If you're 200 pounds, then you would go more towards the 1,000 calories. And the whole diet is 5 days long. So you would go just say Monday to Friday. There's no restrictions as far as having to fast for 16 hours or only eating within certain eating windows. It's really just whenever you feel like you want to eat, you can, but it's that lower amount. And a typical day would be having under 20 grams of protein, under 20 grams of net carbs, and then there's no limit on the fat intake or the healthy fats that you'd have. And I've given some meal plans that hopefully everyone's seen by now, where it'll give you an example of what that would look like. We gave the 600 calories in a day, 700, and then what, like 900 and 1,000 would look like. And you'll likely notice that it looks very slim and not a lot there. It's what you normally would have in one meal likely, but spread out through an entire day. So it's mainly vegetarian. You can have bone broths are fine, fruit, all the like fiber supplements or fiber through vegetables. The healthy fat, so that would be the avocado, olive oil, coconut oil, what else? Avocado oil, all of that, and have it into smoothies, shakes, and any form. It doesn't matter. So steamed would be the best if you're cooking it, but even just like really easily digestible in a smoothie or in a soup form would be great. You can continue all of your supplements and medications at this time. And then just like in the other fasting days, you can have coffee, you have tea, but you cannot have alcohol in this time. So with other types of systems that we talked about, we're saying, okay, if you were to have alcohol, you'd want to pick the ones that are low in sugar, and you want to pick the ones that are just not a lot of chemicals, like organic, and make it really clean. But for these 5 days in a fasting mimicking, absolutely no alcohol, because it is harder on the liver, and we just want to maximize how the body is cleaning up and detoxing in this 5-day period. So indications for doing this would be if you wanted to lose weight, if you wanted to detox after any medication, even going into chemo or radiation, you do this beforehand. It helps with all the benefits that we said before. So inflammation, feeling puffy, feeling tired, brain fog, all the things. If you have a lot of weight to lose and you want to feel amazing fast, you could do this fasting mimicking diet once a month. So 5 days every single month for 3 months, and then you reassess from there. So you could do it once a year if you wanted. I personally like to do it every 3 months just to kind of like reset my system. And in those 5 days, you won't do anything that's vigorous or exhausting for you. So you'd have light exercise and just walking, maybe like gentle yoga or stretching, but nothing that's too intense, because we do want all that energy going into cleaning up the system and helping repair and regenerate. Okay, so that's what a fasting mimicking diet looks like. And then same thing as the fasting days, some of the exceptions to the rules. So you can still have electrolyte powders, the fibers, probiotics, carbonated drinks. It's the exact same as what you would do typically on a fasting day. However, you're eating in those small amounts. And so if you are feeling bloated or gassy or burping, like any digestive issue, then you can do digestive enzymes. So hydrochloric acid will be really great to do with your meals. But because you're eating such small amounts, it's likely not to happen. But if it was, you can definitely do that. And then same with having magnesium. If you felt like you're constipated, you can go from 200 milligrams as needed, even up to 800 milligrams, kind of spread out through the day until you get soft, regular bowel movements, because you really should be going every single day, even though it's a restricted 5-day period. So like we said before, it's really great to do before any kind of chemo, radiation, imaging, even the imaging. If you think about it, the way that most like PET scans work is you drink this like sugar glucose syrup. And if there's anything abnormal in the cell, so like cancer cells love sugar. So all of those cancerous lesions are going to light up. So if we can restrict glucose and restrict too many calories before an imaging, so even like 24 hours before, that image shows up so much more clearly, and it's directed towards just where the glucose syrup would go for the PET scan. So enemas you can do in the morning, drinking tons of water, apple cider vinegar. Really, you can apply anything in the fasting days into these fasting mimicking days as well. Okay, so what does a typical day look like? It looks very slim. It looks very, the whole idea is to get as many nutrients into the system and pack your system with fiber, vitamins, minerals, all the things like healthy fats that we need for healthy living and for lots of energy. As a whole, most of us are we have way too many calories, and they're just dead foods most of the time. So if we were to go to a restaurant, then a lot of the foods would be either deep fried, smothered in like inflammatory oils, like canola oils. They just wouldn't have the nutrients that we need versus going on a smaller amount of food with like high nutrient dense amounts. And so a typical breakfast, you could have avocado smoothie, and then snacking, you could have the kale chips on hand, and then sauerkraut, vegetable soups. What I would recommend is even making a lot of the soups ahead of time and kind of like having things ready to go. So if you are hungry, it's right there. But what's really cool is when you're following a high nutrient dense meal day or a day of foods, you shouldn't feel hungry either. Like your body's getting all of the requirements that it needs. So, like if you start craving salt or you start craving something, we know, okay, add in more Himalayan or sea salt into our foods. Or if you start feeling really tired, then you can have these food choices just there to give you the pure energy. It's not going to dip your blood sugar and make you feel tired later on. So you'll see some meals here that are really tasty, and you'll notice that if you look at the actual nutrition labels on it, we want to see how many calories there are. And this one for four servings. So if you multiplied, like had all of this that you made, it'd only be 182 calories. So that's like nothing. So if you did that 3 meals like this, the fat amount is higher, but if you see the carbs to fiber content, carbs are 10 grams and you minus off the fiber, so 5 grams, there's really a net of five carbs. So we're looking at the total ratios, and I like that we've given you meal plans. So you're not really worrying about like, oh, I have to count. Is it within my calories? Is it within my carbohydrates? But you kind of like get the gist of it, of the ones that are the vegetables that are higher carb, and the ones that broccoli, zucchini, the ones that are just really low carb and high fiber. So they're great to have in these fasting mimicking